Needs to read, who needs to understand the sweep, the arc of history, when you can just go for maximum Marxist shock value?
This is so insane. America deserved 9/11, dude. I'm saying it.
What is this? They want you on the Sean Hannity podcast? Fox and Friends? I want to see him in a debate. I told Sean, invite him on your podcast. I don't even know if he lived through 9/11. I want someone who's brilliant, who can say that to him that will happen. Oh, there was more. There was more.
You didn't hear it in that soundbite, but he got applause at Yale for his literally, he's over the pole of America. Invited number one and number two, he says it and gets applause.
I want to see him in a debate. I told Sean, I said, invite him on your podcast because I want a long format. I want him to understand what he is.
I would love that. Oh my God, I would love that. Oh, hell. Oh, hell yes. Oh my God. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They're going to be like,
do not come.
And I'm going to be like,
I'm going to come.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it's going to be like. I'm just saying,
I'm going to come.
Reach out immediately before they forget. Yes. Did you see the highlight reel from Fox? No, not yet. We're going to look at that in a second. I didn't even know that there was more additional commentary on this.
I don't think he's lived through communism. He hasn't lived through. I don't even know if he lived through 9/11. How old is he? He looks young.
Yeah, he's around.
Oh, thank you. Oh my God. Oh my God. The glaze. Oh my God. Fox News. I'm blushing. Oh my Lord. They said, I got gray beard hairs. And I got this is the oldest I can possibly look, right? Because like there's different variants. If I shave all of it off, including the mustache, I look like a child. It's horrible. Everyone makes fun of me. If I shave the beard off, or if it's at least like a little scruffy, I de-age by like a decade. So it's pretty funny that she thinks that I'm not 34 years old. Bro, she literally said you look younger than 25. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. That's wild that she thought I was younger than 25. That's wild. Damn, I don't even use any like facial creams or nothing. I don't got no. I'm so happy to live in this time. Yeah.
I just want him to understand the consequences for what he's saying and what would happen if America did fall. Where would he go if America fell?
But the thing is, Ainsley, people like that are uncoachable.
I want to know. I want to know where Brian believes this.
Oh, Brian's like, no. Sean should not debate him.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
Oh no! Wait, hold up, Brian. No, Sean will destroy me. He will destroy me in the marketplace of ideas. Let me do it.
Huh?
I want to know why he believes this, and I want someone who understands these issues, who is brilliant, who can say to him, what you're saying, this is what.
Who's brilliant. And then the person that she's using as a brilliant orator is Sean Hannity.
What will happen if America falls? This is what will happen if America becomes a communist country.
All right.
Oh my God, I'm licking my lips, dude. Oh my God. I give Sean Hannity a kissy poo. Yeah, Sean Hannity, known brilliant person. Oh my Lord. All right, then there's more that we got. You shouldn't debate him. Such a bad idea. He'll make you look so bad and destroy your position. Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm scared. I'm so scared about that. I would hate that. I would hate for that to happen. I would never do that. I'm terrified. Okay. I want to know. Oh, this is Sean Hannity's fiance. I would hate to get destroyed in the marketplace of ideas by the likes of Sean Hannity. I love that she is glazing her fiance, which is cute. That's cute. You know, they will 100% edit their video to make you look bad. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to film it myself as well. There's no way that that's going to be. I would hate to get destroyed in the marketplace of ideas by the likes of Sean Hannity. Oh yeah, the one where Trump leaked their relationship. Yeah, that's the one. If you get invited, you'd be forced to do it. You'd hate that, but you'd do it. Yeah, I would hate it. I added him, chat. I did. Fox and Friends first covered you too. What the fuck is going
Shift
on,
gears
man?
now to
What the fuck? What is happening, bro? Why is there so much? What? I don't understand it. It's like, I know liberals think it's because like my ideas are terrifying because they think it's bad and terrifying. So like liberals think like, oh, they're glazing or they're highlighting Hasan because they want to like use Hasan as a cudgel except like it hasn't worked, right? It hasn't really worked. And I think part of it is because these guys have a much more conservative estimate on like where America's anger and resentment is right now. Like they think independents are resentful of America because, like, I guess Trump is not conservative enough or something. Like, no, they're resentful and angry for the same reasons that I'm resentful and angry. Like, you can try to disparage me all day, every day and be like, no, he just like hates America. If I hated America, I'd be excited at what Donald Trump is doing, right? Like, I'd be so elated at the prospect. I'd be like, wow, look at Donald Trump punishing the heartland. Look at Donald Trump robbing the poor blind, robbing his own supporters in the Rust Belt, robbing his own supporters in places like West Virginia, ensuring that they don't get a leg up, ensuring that their infrastructure is never fixed, and wasting away all of that productive output, all of those resources on Israel, you know? Fantastic. And doing it in this incredibly shitty way where he's also failing on the main stage, right? Like he's crippling the force projection capabilities of American empire. He's almost single-handedly destroying the petrodollar. You know, if I hated America, I'd be a Trump supporter. I'd be dick riding Trump into oblivion. I think a lot of people have that anger and resentment. And since Donald Trump actually won the election and has been governing like a madman for the last 2 years, many Americans have realized, even those who voted for him, some, right, especially the independents and the swing voters and whatnot that voted for him, have now recognized that, oh no, it wasn't actually the trans people or the immigrants that we were dominating that was causing all of this, all of these issues, right? Perhaps there's an alternative out there. And the Democrats don't actually fill that void. The Democrats are refusing to communicate where this frustration is coming from, right? They're refusing to explain correctly why Americans are feeling the pain, perhaps even a worsened version of the pain that they felt even under Biden. Hasan, instead of spending a whole time defending shit you said, you should bring up some Sean Hannity controversy and grill him on it. I mean, yeah, there will be a little bit of that too in this situation like that. Hold on, I gotta pee.
Far-left Twitch streamer Hasan Piker, who made some controversial comments while speaking at Yale University. Listen here, and then we'll get your reaction on the other side.
Okay. It's an interesting resolution. End the U.S. empire. It's interesting because how do you end something that's already in the process of dying? Because that's the situation with the American empire as it stands today.
So, as you heard, he makes it seem like America's downfall is inevitable. It's going to happen, and that it's on my generation to figure it out and sort of mitigate the damage. Your reaction to what he said there?
Well, Nate, not only what Hasan Piker just said there, but I think I heard cheers from that audience at Yale. So scratch off another school that my daughter and son aren't going to go to. That's certainly for sure. It'll be a real hoot seeing Hasan Piker be the keynote speaker at the Democratic National Convention one day, won't it? Because more and more Democrats are lining up to be on this maniac's podcast. Ilhan Omar was just on there this week. Ro Khanna last week. AOC, Zohra Mandani, even the New York Times, Ezra Klein, just recently gave him the written version of what you could call, I guess, a hot stone massage in a piece titled, let's see, Hasan Piker is not the enemy. Oh, I'm pretty sure he's the enemy, considering that this is the same guy who was rude.
Again, an enemy to what? An enemy to you? Absolutely. An enemy to the people? I don't think so. I think people are smarter than we give them credit. I think Americans are smarter than we give them credit. Okay? As long as someone is just telling the truth, eventually more and more Americans will hear that over and over again, and they'll start recognizing that there is an alternative vision out there. There is an alternative trajectory that we could be on. One that actually doesn't destroy this country. Okay? One that maybe even manages the decline that we're experiencing currently. Because we are experiencing a decline. Things are not working. Donald Trump was able to identify that pain, was able to identify that resentment, and then he channeled it to unproductive outlets, vulnerable populations. He took that anger that people were feeling at a time when the liberal side was seemingly communicating that there was nothing to be angry at all, that the system was fine, that we were just going to do business as usual politics, right? Put me in front of people, coach. I think the more they see it in an unfiltered manner, the more they hear this message in an unfiltered manner, the more they will recognize that while some of these concepts might come across as foreign at first to the uninitiated or to those who have been taught to hate these sorts of concepts, right? Who have this unnecessary antagonism towards the word socialism, the word communism. They don't even think about it. They're like, this is an enemy thing. This is an enemy thing. Those labels are unnecessary at the end of the day. I just want you to have healthcare. I want you to have a better future. I want you to have education. I want I want this country, the wealthiest country on the planet, to do better for all of its citizens and not just work at the behest of these lifeless, faceless, parasitic corporations that have loyalty to no one but generating profits. Okay?
For the violent fall of this country and just did again recently. The same guy who said America deserved 9/11, the same guy who calls Jews inbreds, that's a quote, and the same guy who quotes Hamas and supports them 1,000 times more than Israel. So if Democrats want to make Hasan Piker its next team mascot in an effort,
like if they just kept it at like, oh, he calls Jews inbreds, like I think more people would probably be like, wow, that's fucked up. Why did he say that? But when they actually end up associating like a bunch of anti-Israel comments right at the end of that, not to give them, tips on how to do better fuck us on propaganda, but like when they do that, people understand that it's not, oh shit, never mind, this is probably not about Jews at all. It's probably about Israel in general, right?
to capture more anti-American, anti-Semitic voters. Roll the dice and take your chances, guys. But this is not somebody they should want to be aligned with, yet they keep lining up to be on this podcast. Go figure.
Yeah, and he just called Republicans.
It's just funny because, like, this literally failed with Trump. Like, I'm not obviously running for office, right? But this is unironically what the liberals try to do with Donald Trump, where they were like, oh, he says so many offensive things. He says so many terrifying things. And people didn't give a shit because they understood what he was talking about. He called the Republicans what? Terrorists.
The biggest domestic terrorists in the country on the Pod Save America podcast. And I mean, it should be emphasized with an underline that he was at Yale University speaking to young people who, as you said, did cheer when he said, how do you end something that is already in the process of dying, referring to the United States of America. Those are just the facts there. Joe, we do have to leave it. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Joe.
Peter Savodnik on the Free Press, the freest of all press, wrote an article saying, my latest on the Democrats' Hasan Piker problem where Ezra Klein doesn't get it and what has to happen next if the party wants to avoid 25 years in the wilderness. When I want to hear about what liberals should do, what the Democratic Party should do, I go to the Free Press, which is a publication that basically operates as a propaganda mouthpiece for a foreign state, Israel, and is also the most pro-Trump. There is also Elon Levy, former spokesman for the state of Israel, Elon Levy. It's tragic to see the monumental self-sabotage of the Senate Democrats are performing because of Hasan Pikerization of their party. This is something that I never thought I would see. Because this is Hasan derangement syndrome. This is a telltale marker of Hasan derangement syndrome. The idea that Chris Van Hollen and Democratic Party senators are actually moving in this way against Israel for the first time ever in a very meaningful way, by the way. 40 votes is nothing to cast aside. It is an implication. It is basically the clearest example. You might say it's too little too late, and I agree with that, but it's the clearest example that this is now going to be a partisan issue, right? It's over. Like, Israel is losing the Hill. Israel had complete dominance in the Hill. Israel has to now move to just the White House and just the Donald Trump. That's the last bastion that they have of Israel defense. When they lose the uniparty approach to Israel in the Hill, well, things are going to change dramatically in American foreign policy and certainly in the way that Israel conducts itself in the region. But the idea that someone like Chris Van Hollen is taking this approach now not because of the events that have unfolded, but because he knows who I am and I've been able to convince him, is so idiotic. And the expectation, or I've heard this statement before, right? Like I've heard people say shit like this before. It's usually like Ethan Klein fans, you know, people that have no understanding of politics whatsoever, people who treat politics like drama that surrounds like certain villains and certain characters that they watch and consume the content of. I wouldn't expect the motherfucking former spokesman of the state of Israel to say such a thing, right? Like this is a legitimate war criminal, right? Like an adult. And he's calling this the Hasan Pikerization of the party. Israel's your bravest, most dependable ally. We're crossing off your most wanted list, fighting your wars. You're spiting yourself, he says. It's so strange that they think like I am responsible for this, or they would rather associate my name with this initiative. It's very, very strange. Why are we spending an hour on posts with 160 likes? Did you not hear what I just said? This is the fucking former spokesman for the state of Israel, dude. This is a person who was doing press releases for the apartheid state during the peak of the genocide. And his assessment of the situation is not that like Israel's actions have caused a serious fissure in the Democratic Party, which they previously had tremendous control over, and they've lost that control in a very meaningful manner. And by the next election cycle, hopefully, inshallah, Israel will completely lose control over the Democrats. They will no longer be able to dominate the Democratic Party as they did in the past. Because this kind of stuff was unthinkable, okay? And even then, it's too little too late. But it doesn't matter. It's still fairly significant. It's like moving the needle in the right direction. It takes a long time. It should be faster. It's an injustice that it's not fast enough, that our politicians are not responsive enough, that the fact that Chuck Schumer is still, you know, voting against this provision to block the bombs, like it's unbelievable to me. But it's a huge deal in comparison to where this like previous bills like this were regarded by the Democrats in the Senate. Okay? I'll get to that in a second, though, because Eitan Nechin, who actually is, you know, fairly sympathetic to anti-Zionism. He did a wonderful piece on Adam Friedland recently. He said it would be more substantive to not It would be more substantive to not to of the Ben-Gvirization of the Israeli government since he's in power and Hasan Piker isn't. Just last week, Smotrich announced the goal of the war is to expand Israel's border. The Dems aren't going to subsidize the war for the settlers. Yeah, Eitan Nechin is a Haaretz reporter in New York. And he actually recently wrote he recently wrote a piece about Adam Friedland. Yeah. But he's right. He says it's probably a lot smarter to point to, like, you know, Ben-Gvir's impact on the Israeli government and even Benjamin Netanyahu's impact on the Israeli government and what the Israeli government has done that has caused this kind of backlash from the Democrats, previously loyal allies of the state of Israel, than some random fucking Twitch streamer. And he's right. This is very much on BB. Yup. But for Hosber, apparently it doesn't matter who's leading Israel and what policies they're enacting. It's in war or otherwise. Must be nice to live in a world where actions don't have consequences. Yeah. So yeah, that part was really stupid. So this was one of the Fox News hits, but the hits keep coming. Here's the Ingram angle.
The commie and the billionaire. That's the focus of tonight's angle. What an evolution for the Democrat Party. Now, in the JFK era, it was pro-life and patriotic. In the Clinton era, it was anti-illegal immigration and...
Yeah, except you guys opposed all of that even back then. So why are you bringing it up now? This is the same... I guess this, in some respects, is not dissimilar to, like, the Democrats going back to like, the George W. Bush era and being like, well, at least they were a competent party. At least they weren't run by the orange man, you know, and Democrats are doing this. Republicans are now doing the same thing as well. Now, you had never heard this from the Republicans, though. Republicans normally don't do this. Why are they doing this? Because they're retreating. Because even a fucking Twitch streamer can cause the Republican propaganda apparatus to retreat, to show that there are moderate Democrats out there, to no longer call Nancy Pelosi a fucking communist. When they see someone who's actually saying communist shit, they turn around and go, Yeah, actually, maybe there are some moderate Democrats. They were glazing Elisa Slotkin the other day. Okay? They were glazing Elisa Slotkin the other day, saying, like, of course she's not going to go on this mean man's podcast. Like, this cuts away at their bravado. It shows that they are also paper tigers. This is important to acknowledge, okay? Because I think, genuinely, this plays a formative role in combating the ratchet effect. Because for the longest time, Republicans have been able to move the Overton window, shift the Overton window to the right over and over again, because the National Democratic Party has always been conciliatory. They've always offered concession after concession after concession, whether because they are backed by the same corporate entities and that's what they were supposed to do, or whether it's because they genuinely thought that this was the only way to win elections, right? I'm not going to say if I'm not going to make an assessment on how sinister the National Party's attitude on this issue was and if there was an ulterior purpose there, an ulterior motive there or not. But I'm simply saying the outcome of Democrats consistently conceding to the Republicans on right-wing framing on issues only made this country go to the right. But the moment that someone says, no, fuck that, Republicans are terrorists, what are we doing here? You know, uses maybe even similar language that Republicans use with regular frequency, and not just like Republican propagandists, but straight up Republican politicians, including the president. When Democrats do just a fraction of that, they will receive tremendous results in terms of pulling back the Overton window to a place of normalcy. Now, of course, my goal is not to just like recenter American politics. I don't want that. I want to shift it so far to the left that we never elect another Republican ever again. That the idea of fascism is impossible to contend with. People are like, "What? What are you talking about? It's ridiculous." That's what I want to do. But the fact that even like a Twitch streamer is capable of making these guys retreat should be important. Should be important for even centrist Democrats to take note of, okay? Because this is the exact opposite of the method that they've applied and lost on over and over again. This is the exact same reason why they lost to Trump twice. Not once, but twice. Because they were far too forgiving of the insanity of the Republicans. They did not fight back against the Republicans. They did not actively try to sever the ties that Republican politicians have with Republican voters, okay? And that's the reason why Republicans got away with saying whatever the fuck they wanted about the Democrats for years. And that conversation got only more toxic and more violent as time went on. And Democrats could do nothing but just sit there and cower. But the moment that you have someone that speaks a similar language to the Republican Party from the actual leftmost position possible, they immediately retreat and they immediately start glazing moderate Democrats. When have you ever heard them glaze moderate Democrats before?
Anti-deficit spending. So Democrats used to believe that America was basically a force for good in the world. But now, the left's new golden boy Twitch streamer doesn't even try to hide it. 34-year-old Hasan Piker not only hates America, he's hinting at a civil war.
Empires never die quietly, and we must end the American empire regardless. But we must manage the retreat of a superpower from the world stage. This is a challenge for our time. Actually, this is the challenge for our time. Because if we do not do this, then the American empire will come to an end in a much more violent way.
I love the applause he gets at Yale. Glad I went to Dartmouth. Of course, he presupposes that we are.
Does she think Dartmouth wouldn't be just as excited to receive me? That's so stupid of her. Yale is more conservative than Dartmouth. What are you talking about? I mean, these are elite Ivy League institutions. Most of the people there are not going to be receptive to that message in any way, shape, or form.
An empire, which we are not. Piker either doesn't know his history, maybe Rutgers didn't teach that, or purposely distorts it for effect.
America's not an empire is so funny. Like, who believes that? What are you talking about? there's not even a handful of people in positions of power or in the think tank orbit that still maintains the position that like liberal interventionism is a force for good. Also, elitist, shitting on a state school. You notice that? Again, this is how they operate.
But it's irrelevant anyway. It's slipshod, lazy thinking that is par for the course for this once great party. Who needs to read? Who needs to understand the arc of history when you can just go for maximum Marxist shock value?
This is so insane. America deserved 9/11, dude. I'm saying it.
And he not only celebrates 9/11, but he mourns the fall of the USSR.
The fall of the USSR was one of the greatest catastrophes of the 20th century. Not only was there incalculable harm done to every single country under its banner, child prostitution, skyrocketing suicide rates, life expectancy plummeting, but America was no longer contested around the globe. And it is precisely because of the end to that multipolarity that we saw accelerated neoliberalism.
I love this. I love when they bang that's the new applause. Ooh, the aliens are actually impressed by the word multipolarity. Very revealing, as was this exchange.
When you say Hamas is 1,000 times better, do you actually mean that? Or is that a rhetorical move or like a solidarity signal?
I do mean it. I think it's a rhetorical move because it frustrates a lot. I love that they've, I guess like at this point, at a certain point, they have to like give up on the cheap shots and actually get to the meat of it. But this is just posting my W's. Like, I have no issue with this. Okay. At this point, Fox News viewers watch you as much as we do. Yeah. Yeah, your grandparents are getting a very quick, short summary of at least some of my high notes, my highlights. This turns into a highlight reel. The moment that they don't like, the moment that they're not trying to do the cheap shots that are not resembling my worldview whatsoever, and actually showcasing some of the things that I believe, I'm happy with that. You know, this is a little bit more productive.
People, I've also said I'm a harm reduction voter. I'm a lesser evil voter, and therefore I would vote for Hamas over Israel every single time because I'm looking at the situation as a paramilitary organization that has like a political party as well.
Well, Piker's not a socialist. He's not a progressive. He's a communist. Hasan Piker is the ultimate privileged Nepo baby.
Wait. That's cool. They're also now, again, another rhetorical retreat. Not only is Laura Ingraham glazing moderate, centrist, neoliberal Democrats, she's also separating communism from progressives and socialism. Okay? Again, that is another rhetorical retreat. It almost feels like the politics that I am representing is forcing Republicans to take a more serious look at what the broad scope of the broad scope of ideological representation within the Democratic Party. Have you noticed that? This is not a bad thing. This is a good thing. These are the same people who say Jeff Bezos is a communist, Nancy Pelosi is a communist. All of a sudden, when they hear someone say communist things, they turn around and go, actually, Bill Clinton was pretty good. I mean, he wanted to protect America. He wanted to glorify America. And that Hasan Piker is a communist, very different than socialist or progressive. Great.
He cut his teeth as an intern at the Young Turk show, which his uncle, Cenk Uygur, founded. What he learned there was how to get attention, and he's getting a lot of it. Nothing is off the table, including resurfaced comments about property owners who choose not to rent out their empty homes. He said, quote, kill them, kill those MFers and murder those MFers in the streets.
Yeah, then they go back to this, and it's like, okay, ask me, do I believe this is this a sincere policy perspective? No, it's not. Okay, let's move on.
The streets soak in their bleeping red capitalist blood, dude. And he's gotten so much traction among younger voters that he's plotting.
I like that she added dude, but she wouldn't add fucking in a video game.
To take over the whole party.
I think we do have a real opportunity to make some significant changes and build a real left caucus in the party and hopefully maybe even bully some other Democrats into coming on board with positions that they previously would never have the moral courage to openly fight for. Also, to Laura Ingraham, I have to say,
Legalize comedy.
And another reminder that having a social media following doesn't mean having a brain.